Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 79 of the Almost Daily Show with your hosts with the most, Chandler and
the Dave Picardi.
We are excited for the new year. It's a new year. What do they say? New year, new me, Vogue. But in reality, we're just kind of pumped about everything.
I don't even know what to do now. What do we do now?
Yeah, there you go. The Vogue, and then you say, work it.
Oh my, 2018 clearly is going to be pretty amazing.
That's right. Because we make it amazing.
Oh yeah, I think I'm pretty excited about 2018. I don't know about you, but I think it's looking good. For Chan and the Dave Picardi.
It's going to look like a dream should dream. And if you get into that dream, you just got to make sure that you never wake up.
Yeah, I've been in a dream for quite some time. Yeah. I like it. Hey, did you see all the news for the weather up here in Boston?
Yeah, it looks like you guys are just getting pummeled.
Dude, crushed. But today it's like beautiful, except for anybody right on the water and all those pictures you saw. I was looking at the stuff online yesterday going, I can't believe all those people lost their homes. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Horrifying. I saw it and I was like, Dave, are you guys okay?
Yeah, unbelievable. We're actually, where we sit, the business sits right on the water, which is for us amazing. And it's fine. We were totally fine. But right up the street, it was just totally underwater. I mean, that water came into neighborhoods, businesses. There was water you see like right downtown Boston. It was like a river, right? Just like water flowing through the streets. Craziness.
Yeah, it was nuts. I saw the pictures. I was like, man, you could literally like put a little boat behind a truck and drag yourself around.
Oh yeah, so it was crazy. But hopefully everybody's okay. Hopefully there's some sort of help coming, because I don't think you can get flood insurance if you're on the water. So that always bums me out when I see that, just being a homeowner, just knowing what that means to a lot of people when they get that damage. It's tough. So I know locally, maybe we can do it globally, because Out of the Cave has clients everywhere, but we'll probably be doing some fundraising, trying to help some people around here.
Yeah, we'll do a whole fundraising show once we see what the damage looks like. And
yeah, whatever
we can do to help, we'll start an Out of the Cave Media You carrying account or something, let people donate, and then
something. Yeah.
People.
That's right. So cool. What are we going to talk about today, Chan?
Yeah. So today we have an incredibly exciting topic, and I know you guys are sitting on the edge of your seats waiting for me to talk about it as I delay talking about it. And today we're talking about how you organize your content calendar. So we've noticed a lot of people, we talk about a lot of the high level overview stuff and what it should look like and how it should flow. But what we want to do now moving forward a little bit more is get into more tactical stuff. So what can you do like today? What are the little things you can do that we can teach you to help you actually do things in the now? And in conjunction with the high level stuff we already talked about, I think it's going to make the show even better. So today we really wanted to talk about how you can organize your content calendar. And the way we do this, generally when we work with people, we organize it in a unique way, so it's different than everybody else, but it takes a lot of work to do that. And it takes a lot of interviews and a lot of creativity to organize the episodes and what's going to happen. So what we're going to talk about today is just a simple way you can organize a content calendar, so at least you have some information going out, and you can use your staff and you can use your customers, and you can use that to kind of propel your business forward and to put yourself in a good position. So at least you're putting information out. So the first thing you should probably do is just get out an Excel spreadsheet or a Word doc or a piece of paper, whatever you want to use, and just write out what you want, write out what your brand means to you, and then write out how your culture is organized, and then just write Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday if you want to do it on weekends. And then once we have the actual schedule written out, then we need to organize it around what we call our pillars of great content. So these are the things that are going to capture people's basically emotions and get them excited. And we want to organize it around motivational information, educational information, and humorous or funny information. And you could even add in a client-facing piece. It's like success stories, but that can also be a motivational piece. So and can fit into the 3 pillars of content. So Monday through Friday, 3 pillars of content. Once you get it all organized, then we can put it together.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk about the importance of why you should ahead of time script out what you want to do. And it could be general, like if you do your whole year, at least have the ideas of what you want to talk about. But ultimately, it should be tied to what's going on in your community, in your business, if you're a gym, in your programming, whatever it is. Like tie the whole thing together so that it's relevant to what's actually going on in your community, which is important. But what I find is if you don't have an actual organized calendar, so you know what is coming up and what's going on first, it's really hard to do like all the getting the content online and tagging it, making sure that it's all done right after the content is built. So you need to make sure the game plan is in place so that you can focus on executing, making the content and doing all the work necessary to get it online in the correct places and pushed out to the correct channels, because that's a whole other side of the job.
Yeah, that's huge. And that's a good point. If you don't have this organized, you're just going to be a mess, and you're going to spend you're going to be the typical business owner that wakes up and be like, shoot, I need a piece of content. What am I going to do today? You need to be able to say, okay, I have Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday or Monday through Sunday organized. Everything's organized into pieces. My staff knows what they're producing. I know what I'm producing. And we have topics and ideas scheduled out for the next 8 weeks or a quarter, or however long we want to schedule it out. I typically like to schedule things out. We have standard things that people are doing and then schedule special things every weeks mapped out. And then you can do quarterly cycles of what's going on. So once you get this organized, all you have to do is say, okay, Monday, what are we going to do Monday? All right, everybody seems to do motivational stuff on Monday, and it's Motivational Mondays, which is pretty popular, and it's a popular hashtag on Instagram. So you can say, okay, for Motivational Monday, I really want to capture the motivational environment, get people excited, make them feel good about themselves. Now, who do I have on my staff who is really motivational, who can do that, and who doesn't really have to think about it or struggle with it? And so you say, okay, Johnny, my boy over here, he's super motivational. Johnny's the man. Every time he talks, people just run in circles. They wave their hands in the air like they just don't care. And that's what makes him shine. So Johnny's the motivational guy. And then like the key is, and this is what Chan and I do, we interview everybody to make sure that everybody has the right fit. And then we also, there's a 4 or 5 week adjustment period to make sure that it actually, ideas and theory are great. So we could have an idea on content. And then if a team member of the team's not able to execute, then something has to change. It can't just be, oh, it didn't work. But what happens is if you put the right people in the right roles, they excel at it. And if you don't, if you're like, oh, Chan, you're doing Motivational Monday, and then every Monday the things are done because it's just not your thing, right? That doesn't work, right? So you have to put people in a position where if you just turn the mic on and they talk, excellence comes out. It's what they do. So set them up for success, which is super important in your content calendar overall. Yeah, that's huge. If people want to talk about it and they feel good about talking about something, and if people feel passionate about talking about something, it's really going to showcase in the video, and it's really going to showcase in the content. And that's how you capture people's emotion, by showing your own passions and displaying that to the world. So then the next one we look at, now we say, okay, we have Monday organized with Motivational Johnny because he's the champion. Tuesday, we want to be a little more educational. So now we have Nutritional Sally. Maybe if we're in the gym industry, Nutritional Sally's going to jump on and show people how to cook in the kitchen and talk about how you can eat healthy and be fit and do all those things, because she loves that stuff. And now she wants to talk about it. And once you organize this, you have to think about it in the mindset of 2 subsets of your population. You have people who have never been in your gym and who don't have any clue as to how to be healthy or what's healthy or anything like that. Then you have people in your gym who want help with what they're currently doing. So you need to organize it. 1 week is people who aren't involved, and 1 week is people who are involved. So that way you're always talking to both subsets. You want to focus on current people because you need retention, but you also want to focus on people who are not in there because you need to answer questions and make them feel comfortable and make them feel like you guys know what you're talking about. So Nutritional Sally is going to be 1 week, maybe she's cooking in the kitchen and she's showing how to do a simple, healthy recipe in 30 minutes or less. The next week, she's talking about the best way to organize your diet around performance or something for your performance clients. And then maybe the next week she goes to a restaurant and she goes through the whole menu and talks about what's healthy, what's not, and how to make the best and most acceptable choices.
I'm hungry, Chand, and you had to mention restaurant.
Oh, I'm starving.
Dang when we get off this show, I'm going to a restaurant.
Me too. It's Pizza Friday.
Yeah, it is. Now I'm going to a cheap restaurant. I'm going for pizza now too.
Heck yeah.
So, yeah, and I think so. It's like one of the things that you just said was a strategy, right? And so strategies can change. What has to happen though is an overall game plan, and I think that's what we're talking about today. Is what are your goals for 2018 as a business? Then it's how do I then take my, what am I going to create for content? Because ultimately, whatever you create for content is going to be what attracts the people to your business. And so, you can't be just saying, well, I need content for content's sake, so I'm going to create stuff. If it doesn't align with what's actually going on, or what you're looking for clients, what you're trying to build for a community, then it doesn't work. So I think it's important to say, like I know it out of my facility, I'm a big fan of the way I view it is communication. So I want my content to be built to communicate with my clients so that I'm educating my clients, adding value for my clients. And then I use that content to get former clients re-engaged and future clients engaged to be a part of, to give them that snapshot into my community, like a way to peer in the window to kind of what's going on. And that's our strategy, and it's always evolving. And, during meetings, during team development, during all that stuff is where we decide and figure out what type of content do we even need moving forward. What are we seeing in the gym? What kind of questions are we getting? Then that all shakes out the content. But this is the hardest thing to stay consistent with in a small business, because it is work, and it takes time, and you have to get good at it. And it's the easiest thing to just not do because it's separate. But if you're not doing all this content development and having your calendar and making it, our business revolves around it now, where it's not a separate thing. Because if you're not doing it, your business is suffering. You are not getting leads. You are shrinking. It's just not, it's not the way to grow moving forward.
Yeah, you have to make it part of your strategy, part of your business, and understand that it's part of your focus. And it's going to be something you continuously do, because you're going to produce content on the top. Then you're going to take everything you've been producing for a long time and use that as retention tools for clients when they join. So now you have a client journey and you have client progress. You have all these healthy eating things you did, all these motivational things you did. And your clients inside the gym who haven't seen this stuff yet will really appreciate it when they get this stuff kind of recycled and they get to see it, because they're not going to see everything as it gets produced. And it gives you a fundamental amount of information to give to people over time. And so now when we got our Monday going, we got our Tuesday, when you look at Wednesday, you're like, okay, now we need to make people laugh. Who's the funny guy in the gym? Oh, funny James Jameson. He's the man. He always goes down smooth.
I like that.
Yeah. And so he's going to get on and he's going to do a funny piece. And the funny piece doesn't have to be anything crazy, but it's going to be organized around the personality of that person, the personality of the business, and the way your clients kind of react and get exposed to funny content. So maybe you go in there and you showcase something funny that happened in the gym, someone trying to do something that didn't quite work out, or maybe you do a commercial like we did where we walk around talking about just random stuff that's hilarious. And you can get inspiration from this by watching other funny content around it. And turns out what happens is people often share the funny and the motivational stuff the most, because that's the stuff that they want to tag their friends in, and they want their friends to show and see. And that they're like, hey, look, this looks like me and you. And then that's how you create virality in your content. So your Wednesday is your funny piece with James Jameson. And then he gets on there. He has a good time. If you want to see funny stuff, just go to our Stone Age Fuel account. Most of it's just hilarious. And this is a key piece a lot of people are missing. They think that they need this high level, they need to hold their hands like this and say, hi, my name's John and I'm a professional. And professionals,
hi, John.
And hello, professionals have no emotion. And so when I talk to you, I'm going to make sure that there's no inflection and there's no fun in this video, because fun is not okay.
It is funny, looking at the content that's out there and what people think they need to produce for content. I I just think that a lot of it is people are copying. So that you don't have an idea, you don't have a game plan. You didn't, you just, the guy up the street's doing it. Our clients see this. We come in and we do this whole high level overview. We build out a game plan and content strategies. We're analyzing what's working and what's not working. We're making these adjustments. We're doing all this stuff. And then they'll come back and say, I noticed that the gyms in my area started copying us. They started doing videos just like us. They started, like it was a similar type of a video, whatever it is. And then, we always have the same responses. Don't worry about it, because they don't actually have a real game plan. All they're doing is producing content. And, we do full, like with all our tracking stuff and reporting, we do competitor reports. So we take all the gyms in your area, we put them on a competitor report. You can actually see what they're doing for content and social media and how well they're doing with it and all that. So you see that where, like locally to me, there's all sorts of activity on social media, really poor engagement on social media because they don't have a strategy. They're just producing content to produce content. A lot of it is reacting to what we're doing, which is okay, but it doesn't affect our business.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was talking to the Mind Muscle guys about this yesterday, and they said they produced like a really good video, and they scripted it out and took a lot of time, and then everybody copied it in their entire community until it was saturated. And It's going to happen because what's going to happen is people are going to see the ones who are the most successful and doing the most unique things, and they're going to try to do it themselves because they feel like it's going to work for them. And the problem is it doesn't fit into their brand. It doesn't fit in their strategy. Usually they don't even know what their strategy is. And so when they start copying, it just kind of produces a spider web of randomness around their business. And they don't necessarily build a brand in the way they need to. And they start making themselves appear like a commodity. And so what you should do when you should already, and it's already going out. When you see people start to copy, you're already doing the next thing. You're already moving on. You're already moving forward. It doesn't matter if you see that kind of stuff. One thing that I had an idea about was watching everybody else's videos around and then going in and making videos that kind of have fun with them and make fun of them and just have a good time and see if we can get each other interacting. So work with the other businesses. If they're copying you, maybe you guys can do something together. It's not like it's going to hurt you, and it's not like it's going to crush both your businesses or anything. Just have an abundance mindset and say, hey, I noticed you guys are producing stuff kind of like ours. Let's do something together. I'd like to put a video out where we talk to you guys and then you talk to us and we have a really good time going back and forth. So get in the mindset of maybe we're stronger together than we are apart versus we just need to be all over the place and hate each other. And there's too many people out there in the business world, especially like the CrossFit realm, who think they need to hate each other when in reality they should just be working together.
Abundance. I think the thing that people are missing is you produce a video, you put content out. They're like, where's the leads now? I did something. I did marketing. Now what? It's like, so, if you're going to spend a bunch of time and money on producing this great video, make sure that it actually is a video that elicits some sort of reaction out of people to get them in. And then, so say you did all this work, you spent money, you had a film crew take care of you, and you did it right. You better put at least a couple grand a month into actually producing or promoting that as an advertisement and pushing it out to actually make it work. If not, if you just throw it up in your social channel and let it do its thing, you spent a lot of money and you're not getting any activity on that video. It's just not going anywhere. And I think that's the key is if you're going to do something where you're producing really good content occasionally, you better just make sure you have a monster marketing budget and really spend the money to get the reaction that you're looking for. If not, and this is kind of what Out of the Cave is all about, is it's the details, right? So you had content Monday, and maybe so didn't all your competition, but you also had content Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, over the weekend. All of it's touching on different things. All of it has a game plan, trying to build certain parts of your community and get certain types of clients in. And then you outwork them, right? There's just this stuff coming all the time. And it's not one thing that does it. It's overall, almost like in your training, right? You can't go in and just do one great training day and see all this progress, right? It's little bits every day over years that makes the difference.
Yeah, that's the key. And people think that Facebook advertising, you can just put like $5 into it and then you're good to go. In reality, it's once you get a really good call to action, in order to understand what's going to work really well, it's going to take at the minimum $30 a day into the platform and it can be up to $100 plus a day, depending on what you do. But it takes volume because Facebook is a learning environment. And when Facebook looks at your ads, they're looking at all the people that see it and all the people that interact with it. And they're using an algorithm to pick the ones that are going to be the best and the ones that are going to work the best. And you need a lot of money and a lot of volume in order to understand that. So if you're pumping content out all the time that's really good, Facebook's going to learn and understand who's actually watching it, who's paying attention to it, and your audience is going to get better that way. Then when you get ready to do your call to actions and stuff like that, it's going to be in a better place because Facebook already really understands who's going to interact with it. Then you can start converting people, and then it's going to learn who's more likely to click, who's more likely to convert, and do all of those things. So it's a whole process, and it takes a little bit of work, but once you get it, nobody can copy what you're doing because they don't understand what the strategy looks like, and they don't have the work ethic usually to produce this stuff all the time. They don't have the staffing, the systems, and they don't really understand what they're doing. So they're just going to go back and say, well, I guess we'll just run challenges and copy your content every once in a while because that's all we can do right now.
And it's an expensive endeavor doing it that way. You know, like the expense is either your time, right? So, and this is why, like I said, like our content development and how our team operates with it, it's the core of our business now, right? So that's the first thing that happens, and then it pushes out, as opposed to being secondary. Because if you're not doing that, then you're spending money. Say you're trying to just run challenges or something, spend money. It'll cost you $300, $400, $500, $600 just to start seeing results off of ads, and even then, it's to a cold market. Whereas if you're producing the right content and you're actually building an audience, Facebook's already learning, right, the algorithm to drive traffic to your business. It's learning it on a daily basis. Then when you do an advertisement, it might not take as long to have the thing actually start producing, which will cost you less money, right? So say you put $30 a day into it, it'll take at least 10 days to have Facebook actually start filtering the right people towards you. So it's going to cost you $300 right there. Just to set up the ad to start getting the leads, right? So the better you set that up, which is really good content, always coming out, getting pushed to an audience, then when you drop down any sort of an advertisement, it's like a gold mine because it's actually hitting the right people that are already consuming and already weeded out for you.
Yeah, it's huge. And it's just, you have to be in a long-term mindset to make this work. It's nurture for a little bit and then go for an ask. Just nurture, go for an ask, nurture, go for an ask. Refresh everybody who's watched your nurturing stuff once a month. Use the ask, have the ask running in conjunction, and then you set yourself with a good system. But you also have to have a budget for it. You can't just say, well, I don't know what my budget is. You have to say, okay, I'm putting in $5 to $10 a day minimum into my daily content. And then I'm putting $30 a day minimum into my call to actions that are running. So if you don't have this, then you have to, the biggest problem I think is people don't have any money in the service-based industry a lot of the time, especially gyms. And so you have to figure out a way, how do I either get the money to do this, or how do I get a big influx? Maybe use a challenge to get a big influx to have a budget to make this work. But you need a budget. And it's one of the biggest problems. I was telling Steph yesterday, rather than doing marketing, we should just open up a loan company. That's what everybody needs. It's a fitness business. Nobody has any money and everybody's starving because they don't have hedge funds and all these things that like global gyms have.
Right. It's so true. Right. If they just had a little bit more money, you could crush it. But we're always talking not all. I mean, it's just interesting. We've talked to a lot of gyms, and there's a lot of gyms doing extremely well out there. But the ones that are, right, like here is the factor. They run their gyms very well. So management's good. And then they also have allotted money, right? So like my gym, it's 4% no matter what of revenue goes to marketing, right? So if money's dipped down and I have to take less money, that's fine because 4% goes to marketing. And technically, the smaller you are, you should probably allot more percentage to it to grow to where you need to be. So you're right.
Yeah.
Loan sharking.
That's true. I'm going to be a loan shark. That kind of violates integrity over profits, but
it does.
What everybody needs. So anyway, when we're looking at the content calendar, now we have our motivational piece on Monday with the motivational staff member. Then we have our educational piece on Tuesday, and we have our funny piece on Wednesday. And now Thursday, we're looking at, okay, what can I do on Thursday? Well, grab a client, grab someone who's done really well in your facility and record a 2-minute video about their success. Ask them a few questions. Try not to be in the video when you do it. Just let them talk, because it's more real if it's them talking and displaying their emotions. And it should just be, what were you looking for when you were kind of looking for a solution? What kind of feelings did you have when you were looking? How did your family feel? How do you feel now that you found us and you've been with us for a while? Tell us about your journey. And then what would you say to someone who hasn't been in, but you think should come in and check it out? And so if you can get a success story like that, you only need like 5 to 10 of these. And then you start off, you get one every day, every Thursday or whatever, or you run this in the back as a call to action. This would be your call to action. So then once you get that going, now you say, okay, we have this running. This thing's going to get $30+ a day to go into, because it's a really powerful story. You can release it on Thursday, put it on a member story segment on your website, and then run that as a call to action. So now you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday organized. And then Friday, what we like to do is just a little compilation. So take all the pictures and fun stuff that happened and compile it and do a little video people can watch. And members really appreciate that, especially in the gyms, because they see themselves working out, they watch the collage, they want to share with their friends, and it just makes them feel more connected to the facility.
That sounds like a plan. That sounds like you have a plan, Chan.
Yeah, Chan has a plan. Chan the man has a plan.
So something to avoid. I know we have a free template as an example, but just know, like, I know we've talked to people like, well, we run what you guys do, but the difference is we actually customize it for everybody. It's actually, for us, it's we do a whole process of building it around who you have for a team, what their specialties are, what they're comfortable with, expertise, right? Do we have people that can do the video editing, subtitling, podcasts, whatever it is, right? So just know that it's not simple. It's not just create content to create content. You have to. There needs to be a little bit more that goes into it. And so it's find somebody, either yourself or someone on your team, that can put the work in on it. Maybe an hour a day dedicated to making sure that your content and strategies are working and everything's getting done correctly, and analyzing so that it improves over time.
Exactly. We had a cool comment just now from Joe, our buddy Joe Morris.
Love
he
Joe.
said your audience building strategy is legit. I created custom audiences of people who watched my videos in December, ran an ad with just $25 ad spend, and had 9 signups in 1 week. Seemed like they were just waiting for me to ask them to buy.
Isn't that cool?
That's it. That's amazing. So Joe followed our strategy, worked with us for a long time, and now he's got this system motoring, running, and humming, and he's getting people in the gym. And like we always talk about, it's not a conversation of sales at that point. It's enrollment. They want to purchase because they've been nurtured for so long, and they feel so comfortable with what you're doing. They don't feel like it's a scary place anymore.
So can I add something now to this, which is probably another podcast for us? Lead nurture systems. So this, like, I know the hot thing for 2007 was email marketing, or probably 2005 on. And what we're seeing is like, so it's like it's the same thing with your content strategy for social media. It can't just be like cookie cutter. So when you're creating all this content, this is the type of content that should then get put into your long-term nurture stuff through email and messenger and everything that you're using. It should be like real content. It should be you, and it shouldn't just be like, something that some other company wrote for you that is standard stuff in the business to send out, at 1 day, 3 days, 9 days, 15 days, right? Go back and edit your stuff and actually put in real content. Put your own videos in. Put your own stuff that's going on in the gym. Make it relevant to you and your business. And that should be part of your long-term strategy, is always, keeping your long-term nurture systems lined up with content that's being produced, what's going on in your gym. And every year you should do an audit of that, maybe update the videos that are in there, and never just a stagnant, standardized set of emails. Doesn't work long-term.
Yeah, that always bothered me when you buy a system and it's pre-written, and then another guy across the street buys it from you and it's the same thing that's been pre-written. So then a member opts in on both your websites, starts getting emails, and they're like, oh, wow, they must be the same thing. I'm getting the exact same emails from these guys. They're obviously a franchise, so I'll just go to the cheaper one. So then you become a commodity. Right. Don't turn yourself into a commodity. If you're buying something, It's okay if it's pre-written, but you need to go in there and look at every single email, every single video, and ask them, hey, can I go in there and edit this so it makes sense for me and it doesn't sound the same as everyone else? Can I remove your videos and put my own in? Because nobody knows who you are, what your face is. I need people to understand who I am and what I'm doing and the people in my facility. And so that's what you need. And if you can do that, then you continue differentiating yourself and you continue setting yourself up for success versus just buying cookie cutter formats. Cookie cutter is great because it's easy and it saves you time, but it's also not so great because it makes you look like a commodity.
Yeah. And we made this mistake, 2 years ago, right? Which we corrected. Now, no matter what, for us, it's about the making sure that you actually have a plan in place. What you use for a platform, right, doesn't necessarily matter. Like we have a platform we build, but we make sure it is always custom around you. But then if you have a different platform, we just make sure that whatever your content is, it's good and it's unique around you. So I think that's something that's unique about our business is we work on the overall strategy of your marketing. And community experience and all this other stuff that goes on around marketing. And we're not necessarily attached to the tools. So we have tools that we use. If you don't use our tools, you can use anybody's tools. We still work on the overall strategy with you.
Yeah, that's the goal. You need someone who's a technician and someone who's a strategist. And if you have a high-level strategist in your corner, you're always in a good place. So then when we look at the final piece of like the content calendar, you got Monday through Friday organized now. Usually what we'll do at the end of the week is just send out a little digest that has everything, a collection of everything that you can send out to people so they can consume it if they haven't seen it on your social media or on your everywhere else you put it. And so this allows people to see it via email or messenger or whatever you're doing. And when you're looking at that, bringing up like things like messenger, it needs to be something that you use as a tool, like Dave was just saying, but don't turn it into your sole source of doing things. I've seen this happen in the past. They turn it into their sole source of things. People are kind of on it, but they still don't really care. So then it fails and they have to go back and do the other thing. When in reality, if you want to pick up that new thing, you need to keep doing your old thing. So keep doing your emails, pick up Messenger for those people who want to use it and want to be part of it. Now you can even WhatsApp. So now pick up WhatsApp or whatever you want to use for it, but don't abandon hope on a previous thing because the new thing is coming out. Because remember, the marketers are going to ruin it. People aren't going to want to check it anymore, or Facebook's going to start banning people for doing all these horrifying ads that try to flood your messenger inbox with spam. That's not what it's about. So don't set yourself up to rely on one tool. Set yourself up to have a repertoire of tools.
Repertoire.
So,
yeah, I'm gonna re-say what you said a little bit because I think this is the biggest change. Especially, I mean, it's for all industry at this point. But just, for me, I've been in the gym business for 13 years and it's changed so much. And I can't believe how much more work it is to actually like sustain and build business than it used to be 13 years ago. And I think the big reason is it's like it's like both sides of the equation, right? Like it's a problem, like a curse, but it's also like a blessing at the same time. Where the way that social media works and just like communication with the entire world works now, it evens the playing field. So it allows a small business to compete with and keep up with a large business. So the difference, though, I think that happens now than what happened before is if you take your client base, say you have 100 clients, you can divide them up and say, all right, well, 20% of them prefer email communication, and then, whatever. There's a percentage that prefer like Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, Facebook, like as like in a private group, right? Or wherever, right? Like they're just, everybody's in different spots and prefer communication in different ways. And as business owners now, it's our job to create a system in our own business that communicates with all of our client base and potential client base where they're at, not where we want them to be. And I think that's the hardest part of this is, email nurture systems are great. They're way less effective than they used to be, but that doesn't mean you don't need them, right? And But if you don't have a game plan that actually takes it all into consideration, communicates with everybody where they're all at, not where you want them to be, you're not going to do well in the future.
Exactly. This has been a good episode. We went over the entire content calendar, and just to wrap it up, it was organize your schedule Monday through Saturday or Monday through Sunday, whatever you want to do. Set it up in a motivational piece, an educational piece, and a funny piece. Then add a client success story and add a compilation. Then you got 5 days of content. You can add the 6th day can be an email that goes out that showcases everything. If you guys want a template of what this looks like, just comment below or shoot us an email and we'll send you a template on it. But it's not that difficult. The hard part, though, is having the creativity to organize this to be different. So it's not just Motivational Mondays with this guy. It's an actual episode that people can watch and can continuously play, so you have a full story. So if you need help with that, that's what we do in the beginning phases of Out of the Cave Media. We organize this whole thing. It takes about a month. Then we start building audiences. Then we start building advertisements until you have a full system.
That's right. Good stuff, Chan.
Yeah, great show today.
I think so.
If you guys...
Has me fired up for Monday.
I know. Motivational Monday. Last thing, if you guys, we put up a new intro into our podcast that I was pretty proud of. I'm pretty pumped about. So if you guys,
I can't wait.
I'd love to hear your feedback on what you think about that intro. Shoot us an email about that too. hello@ootcmedia.com. Tell us if you love it. Tell us if you hate it. Tell us if you don't care. Tell us if you haven't heard it yet. Either way, I want to hear how it sounds and what you guys think about it.
Good stuff.
And that's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote.
All she wrote. All right, guys, we will see you next week. We're back on track and we'll get more episodes coming out so you guys can enjoy our beautiful voices.
Oh, yeah.
See ya.
Later.